Neighbors is a participatory project that addresses the biodiversity crisis by inviting people to get to know one of their more than human neighbors. So a lot of our human design spaces are quite homogeneous, but there's a lot more biodiversity around us than we might realize. It might just be hiding in manicured lawns or in bad attitudes about weeds. We'd like participants to see themselves as part of a larger ecological community. After all, we live with many more non-human beings than humans. So by having an intimate experience with another species, we hope that the implications of the biodiversity crisis are brought into focus.
When we started developing Hello Neighbors, we quickly realized that having a relationship with another species wasn't as simple as talking to a tree or waving to a bird. These gestures, of course, work in the human social world, but they weren't going to bring us any closer to knowing a different species. We knew with Hello Neighbors that we would really have to challenge participants to engage their more than human neighbors in some unconventional and multi-sensual ways. That participants would need to slow down and be with their new neighbor in an embodied way. Hello Neighbors is a quiet solo experience to begin with. Participants are given a field guide that helps lead them through a series of multi-sensual exercises that helps to get them to better understand and know their new neighbor. We ask participants to listen to the sounds that the species makes, to study their color, to witness how they move, or to think about how that species relates to other species, and ultimately what their connection is to this new neighbor that they've met. All of this is done alone. After some time, we do bring everyone back together and we ask people to introduce their new neighbor to another human being. We do this because it allows us to immediately start to build a new multi-species community. To end the project, we have a local ecologist who provides more information for us about biodiversity in the area that we're working in and gives us more cultural and scientific context about the species that we've met.
You can actually eat these too. Before they're in flower, the stem is really nice. It's like celery or cucumber.
So, over the period of 2 or 3 hours, participants have a really intimate experience with a new neighbor. They spend time with other human beings, and they learn some scientific context to the area that we're working in. Ultimately, the hope with Hello Neighbors is that we expand the definition of who a neighbor is. And it challenges us as citizens of a city to become better neighbors to the species that we live with.
Hello Neighbors can take place in rural or urban spaces like fields, forests, city parks, indoor gardens, or even office buildings. And we've done the project in Germany, UK, Argentina, and Canada.
Hello Neighbors was a super fun project to be part of. It makes you think about your ecosystem in a very unique way and interact with the living things around you.
So when I was first introduced to the species, I did what I think most people would do, and I just kind of brushed it off as a regular plant. And then the longer I stayed and I sat with it, I noticed things like, for example, I saw a spider web. And so right away I thought, this is not just a plant, it's a home to another species. And then it made me think about how my home might also be home to other species and not just myself. So yeah, it was cool to kind of sit with it and come to those realizations.
Being someone new to the area, I've spent a lot of time getting to know the people in my environment, but getting to know other species that live in the same environment with me is something that I've not taken the time to do.
Yeah, in the moment, I think I was just so focused on the plant. Like I said, everything else kind of zoomed away. This is just an interesting experience because that's not often how you experience your neighborhood. You're usually walking around, going places, one place to another.
Esse projeto foi muito importante para mim porque me mostrou como que a comunidade é importante, assim como as formigas, elas trabalham em comunidade, elas estão sempre juntas. E eu não fazia ideia, eu não tinha como saber se não fosse por esse projeto, por essa oportunidade de participar.